So, only about 1 in 4 coaches actually turns coaching into a full-time sustainable business. And the difference between the ones who make it and the ones who don't almost always comes down to one thing they did before they ever signed a client. They wrote a coaching business plan. Not a fancy 50-page document, just a clear, honest roadmap that forced them to answer the hard questions up front. And that's exactly what I'm going to walk you through today. 6 tips for writing a coaching business plan that you'll actually use, including the one section most coaches skip that ends up being the difference between growing and guessing. Before we get into the 6 tips, I want to be direct about why this matters. A coaching business plan isn't something you write to impress investors or get a bank loan. You're probably not doing either of those things. This is a tool for you, a roadmap that keeps you from flying blind when you start your coaching business. Think of it like planning a road trip. You pick a destination, you plan your route, you figure out where you're stopping along the way, and you budget for gas and lodging. Your coaching business works the same way. You have the vision, now you need the plan to actually get there. So let's build one. Okay, so tip number 1, write a mission statement that fits in 30 seconds. This is your elevator pitch, what you do, who you do it for, and how you do it. Here's what a good one sounds like. I'm a career coach and I help mid-career tech professionals advance in their fields through one-on-one sessions and group workshops. That's it. No jargon, no fluff, just a clear statement that anyone could understand. And the reason this matters, if you can't explain your coaching business in 30 seconds, you'll struggle to explain it on your website, in your marketing, and in conversations with potential clients. So write it down, say it out loud, and trim it until it's sharp. All right, tip number 2. Define your target market, and I mean really define them. Not women aged 25 to 55 who want personal growth. That's everyone. You need to know their specific pain points, where they spend time online, what content they're already consuming, and what's keeping them up at night. Here are the questions you need to answer. 1. Who are they? 2. What do they need? 3. Where do they hang out? 4. How old are they? 5. Where are they financially? And 6. The big one. What are their pain points? I learned this the hard way when I first started my coaching business. I was trying to coach anyone who would book a session, and I was getting nowhere. The moment I narrowed down to a specific type of client, and I mean specific enough that I could describe their daily routine, everything changed. My marketing got sharper, my messaging resonated, and the right people started finding me. If you can, talk to 5 or 10 people who fit your ideal client profile before you launch. Ask them what they're struggling with, what they've already tried, and what would make them say yes to coaching. That research is worth more than any business book you'll read. Now, tip number 3, create a tagline for your coaching business, and I want you to prioritize clarity over cleverness. Your tagline should tell someone who you are and what you do in one sentence. If they have to think about what it means, it's not working. Here are 3 rules for a great tagline. 1. Choose clarity over creativity. Your tagline needs to communicate immediately. 2. Don't be shy about positioning yourself as an expert. You've done the work, you have the training, and your tagline should reflect that confidence. And 3. Test your tagline with people who will actually be honest with you, not just your friends who will say, "That's great," no matter what. This is also a good time to think about your business name if you haven't settled on one. Together, your name and tagline should make it instantly clear what someone gets when they work with you. Okay, so tip number 4, and this is the one most coaches want to skip. It's the one I mentioned at the beginning that makes the biggest difference: your financial plan. I get it. You became a coach to help people, not to crunch numbers. But if you plan on making money, and I really hope you do, you need to know where that money is going. Start with the basics. How much are you charging per session or per package? The average coaching session runs about $250 to $300 an hour. But if you're just starting out, you might price a bit below that while you build your client base. Figure out how many clients you need each month to hit your income goal, and then be honest about whether that number is realistic. Beyond pricing, think about what happens when money comes in. How much goes back into marketing? How much are you setting aside for taxes? Because yes, you do have to pay those. Having a real financial plan means you're building a business, not just hoping clients show up. I set up all my packages and pricing on Paperbell, which made the financial side way less intimidating. Each package has its own page with the price right there, and clients can book and pay in one step. So I'm not chasing invoices or doing math in a spreadsheet every month. All right, tip number 5, do a competitive analysis. And I know that sounds like something from a business school textbook, but it's simpler than it sounds. Life coaching is a big competitive industry, and you can't set yourself apart if you don't know who you're competing with. Pick 3 to 5 coaches in your niche and look at what they're doing. What's working for them? Where are they advertising? How are they attracting clients? What sets them apart? But here's the part that actually matters. After you study them, ask yourself one question: how can I do it better? Maybe your competitor has great content but a confusing booking process. Maybe they're strong on Instagram but invisible on YouTube. Maybe their packages are overpriced or underdelivered. Every gap you find is an opportunity for your coaching business. While you're at it, do a quick SWOT analysis on yourself. Your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Nobody's great at everything, and being honest about your own gaps before you launch will save you a lot of pain down the road. Now, tip number 6, the final one, and it's really 2 things wrapped together. Write a marketing strategy and commit to a timeline for completing your entire coaching business plan. For your marketing strategy, answer one question: how are you going to find clients? In a perfect world, you'd build it and they would come. But that's not how this works. You need a plan for reaching your audience, earning their trust, and closing them as clients. Where will you show up? What content will you create? What platforms will you use? Write it down, and then, and this is the part nobody talks about, give yourself a deadline to finish the whole plan. 2 to 3 days is plenty. Most coaches never finish their business plan because they treat it as a someday project instead of a this week project. Set a date, block the time, and get it done. Now here's what I want you to walk away with. Your coaching business plan doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be long. It just has to exist. Because a coach with a plan and a coach without one are playing completely different games. The ones who write it down, who force themselves to answer the hard questions about money and marketing and competition, those are the ones who end up in that top 25% who make coaching their full-time career. If you want to get your coaching business set up the easy way, I use Paperbell for everything: my packages, my scheduling, my payments, even my client website. You can try it completely free with your first client, and there's a link in the description to get started. Go write that plan and then go change some lives.